Hi everyone, this is Tiscode. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Tiscode. I teach coding. I teach beginner-friendly coding tutorials using HTML and CSS, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. No framework, no complex tool. This session is perfect for beginners, whether you are just getting started or just want to practice what you've learned. We break everything down line by line, and yes, you can ask your question live. Today we are building a simple, fully responsive portfolio website from scratch, the which include the header section, the about me section, the skill section, the get in touch section. Yeah, the website will fully adapt to different screen size from larger desktop to mobile phones using flexbox, grid, and media queries. So make sure to stick with me to the end, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you find this video helpful. Now, the idea I'll be using is my VS Code. I already have my VS Code open down, and as you can see, I have my folder. I have my folder where I have my image. So now let me create my folder. This is my VS Code. Let me create a new folder inside my VS Code here. Okay, let me leave my folder yet. I'll be going to my desktop. Yeah, personal portfolios. Folder. So now I already have my VS Code ready. I have a file for the index.html and I have a file for the style.css. Inside the index.html is where I'll be writing my HTML file, and inside the style.css is where I'll be writing my style, the CSS style. Now, there is a quickest way to create the HTML structure, which the built-in structure, which is the mh support, by pressing your exclamation mark and pressing enter. Instead of us writing this from scratch, you can just use your exclamation mark and pressing enter and get the HTML structure. So now, after we get our doc type, this doc type.html is tell the browser that you're writing HTML5, which is the current version of the HTML. It ensures that it ensures the web page behave correctly in modern browsers like Chrome and co. So we have our HTML language, which is English. We tell the browser and the screen reader that the contents are written in English language. Then inside our header, we have the metadata, we have our meta cassettes, we have the title. The title here is the title of our website we are building. I can decide to change it. I can change it to be like personal portfolio. Yeah, everything, all the elements inside this header, and all the elements in the header, they are not shown in the screen directly. They are not visible. All the visible elements go inside the body. Yeah, all the elements that will be shown display inside our browser will be writing everything inside our body. So before we move on, we have to link our CSS in our head tag here, which will be linking. Just write your link, then you press tab, then you put our CSS file, which is our style.css that we create earlier. Yeah, in our CSS file. So inside our body now, let me divide my screen. Let me open my web browser by right clicking and open with live server. So now, so that I can see what we can all see what we are doing. Now, inside my body now, all our HTML websites, HTML that we are writing will be inside our body so that it will display on our browser here. So now I will start by writing a div. I'll start by creating a div inside my body. Yeah, by writing a div and pressing tab, it generates the div opening and closing tag. You can enter it. A div is like a box. A div is a box used to organize part of your web page. So HTML tag will be writing will be inside a div, inside a box to separate each of them step by step. But we can actually write our div in the quickest way like this, instead of writing a div like this and giving it a class of, maybe we want to give it a class of maybe header. Yeah, instead of going through all this one, you can just write like this. You can just put dot and put header. Yeah, dot your full stop and header and press tab to generate your div automatically. So now inside our div now, our div class will be the container. Let's rename it to the container. Yeah. So inside our div, we'll be having our header here. Yeah. Let's give our header a class of profile header. Yeah. So this our header section. Everything inside our inside our header section will be inside this div, the header wrapper. So now let's create another div for our image, because we're having our image at the top of our website. Let's create another. Let's say we want to use provide image. That's for our image. So I'm going to link our image here by writing our image tag and press tab. So I already have my image in my folder. So now just rename my image here, copy the name of my image, then I paste it inside my source folder, inside my source code. Yeah, yes. So can you see that's my image as display already, image I'll be using for my website. So inside, after the div, let's give our website our h1. So now our h1, let me see, we want to use like this code for our h1. After our h1, I give it a paragraph. What we do, web develop and design. Yeah, can you see? This is what we have now. This is what we have so far. This is everything that we are going to have inside our header container. So now let's tie all these our header container. Let's tie it in our CSS. Let's go to our CSS now. So inside my CSS, I'll be using. Let's tie this first. Let's use the universal selector to reset our default spacing that browser apply. Let's use our margin. Let's give it a margin of 0. Margin 0. Padding of 0. Padding 0. Yeah, let's give it a border box sizing of border box. Yeah, border box. Yeah, this for our universal selector. Now let's select our body of our website. Now let's select the body and style the body. Inside the body, we are going to change our font here. Let's use our font family. Inside the body, I'll be using June. Yeah, that's for our font. We've changed our font. Now let's adjust our line height. Let me see, let's give it 1.5 for our line height. Let's give it 1.6. Okay, now let's change our color of our body. For all our text, let's give it a dark gray. For our body, let's change the background color. Background color should be white. Let's give it a white background color. Now let's start inside our body here. Inside our body, we have our header. Inside our body we have our container, then inside our container here we have our header. Yes, so now let's style our container. Let's give it a maximum width of 1000 pixel. Yeah, that's for our container, 1000 pixel. So now let's give it a margin of 0 up to make everything align. Let's give it a padding of 2. Now that's for our container. Now let's style our profile. Inside our container here, inside our container we have our profile header. Now let's style our profile header. Let's style our profile header inside our container. So let's align the text. Text align should be center. Margin bottom, let's give it a margin bottom. The margin bottom of 3. Let's change the margin, should be 3. Yeah, for the space. Now let's try style our profile image. Our profile image. Let's give it a width. With a width of 150 pixel. Now let's give it a height of 150 as well. Let's give it a margin of 0 up to 1. Yeah. Now our website is making sense. Now let's give it an overflow. The overflow should be hiding. Now let's give it a border radius for smooth edge, for the rounded corner. Let's give it a border radius of 50%. Yeah. Let's give our box a shadow. Box shadow, that will be box shadow. That will be 0, 4 pixel, 6 pixel. Let's give it 0 here. Let's give it 0. Yeah. So now let's style our profile image. Yeah. The image inside our profile image. Inside here we have a profile image container, the div. Then inside our profile image, we still now have another image, which is our header image. Now let's style the image. Dot profile image. So now let's give it a width of 100%. Now let's give it a height of 100%. The object field should be cover. Now after image. Now let's take a look of what we've done so far. So now guys, bottom, let's take a look through our CSS. Take a look at our CSS. margin 0, overflow is hiding, yeah, border radius 50%. Let's adjust our image over for smooth transition when we hover on it. Let's give it a profile image over. Now let's give it a transform scale. Transform, that will be 1. Let's give it 1.5. No, let's give it 0.05. Wow, makes sense. So now let's make our texts for each one. Now let's style our each one here. The font size should be 2.5 rem for each one. It should be 0.5. And the color should be, let's change the color of our H1. Now let's start our title. Let's adjust the font size. Font size of our title. Let's make it 1.2. The color. The color should be the color of our title. Now the margin bottom of our title. Let's give it 1 rem. Now as you can see that our distance is now aligned. Let's go through the code one by one. We have a padding, we have a margin, a padding, a font family, line height, color. Yeah, we give it a maximum, we give it a margin, text align. The margin bottom should be 3. The weight should be 150 pixel, height 150 pixel, yeah, on the way. Our overflow here is hiding. And over and the scale. So guys, so now let's move on. Let's go to our other section, which is, let's go to our about section. Yeah, so our about section, let's give it a class of about. So inside our about, let's have h2 here. Let's put about me. So let's give it our paragraph. Let's just put the we have our about. So now let's start our section in our CSS. Let's adjust the section here. Let's select the section in our CSS. Let's change the background. The background should be white. give it a background. Yeah, our section. Let's give it a padding. The padding of 2 give it a padding of 2 our border radius should be 10 pixels. Then our margin bottom should be 2 guys, see what we have so far. Our margin bottom. Then let's give it a box shadow. The box shadow. Give it a 0, 2 pixels, 4 pixels, 9, 0. Yeah. This is our container here. Now, these are yeah, we did forget to add our transition to our image here. Let's add our transition, should be transform from 0.3 seconds for smooth over. Yeah, is for the smooth over, I see. So now this for our session. Let's add transition to our session too. Let's add transform of 0.3 seconds of ease. Now let's tidy over section. Over, it should be transform. Now, can you see, guys? That's for our session. Now let's start our H2. Our session H2 should have a color. Let's copy the color of our H1 here. Now you should have a margin bottom. Now you should have a font size. Just change the font size here to be 1.5. Let's make it 1.8. So that's that for our session, for our about me session. So now let's move to the other session here, which is our skills session. another section on our HTML, which is our skills. Let's give it a class of skills. So inside our skills, we're going to have an h2 of skills. So inside after our skills, we are going to have another box, another div box of skills grid. Um, our skill grid here. So everything that will be inside our skills, all our skills here will be inside the skills grid. Inside the skills grid, we now have the items, each items that I want to put inside our skills here. So now let's have for our skills grid, let's have another div of skill item. So inside the skill item now, I'll be using my icon from Boxicon. Let me go to my Boxicon. So you can actually go to your Boxicon and go to this use as fonts. Use as fonts here. So I'll copy the URL, the link. Copy the link, put it in the done. Now our HTML header. After our CSS here, put the link. Yeah. So we'll be using the icon. So now we want to use Boxicon icon here. The first icon will be using the HTML icon. Let's go like this. Actually go. You search for the icon. So now this is our HTML icon here. You could click on the font, you copy the font component, and you're going to paste it inside our VS Code. So I have a span to name it here HTML5. So let's copy the div, the skills item div, and paste it 4 times because we are going to be having a 4 div here. So yeah, already paste it 4 times. First one is HTML, the second one will be CSS3. CSS3. Now let's search for our CSS here. Now let's click on the font here and copy it. Let's go to our VS Code. Replace the HTML icon with the CSS. Can we see what we have in our portfolio here? So now we go to our Boxicon. We search for JavaScript. Use our JavaScript icon. We copy the font. Now paste it here. We rename the HTML here to JavaScript. So the last one, this one will be for React. Yeah, here. Let's name our span. So now let's copy React icon. Yeah, I click on it, copy the font, paste it inside our VS Code. Yeah. This is what we have so far. Now let's tie our skills here. Let's tie it inside our CSS. We go to our CSS here. Let's tie it. Now to be our skills grid. Let's select the grid first. Let's give it a display of grid. Display grid. Let's align. Let's make it align to the center. Now let's give it a gap of each row. Yeah. Let's give it a padding. A padding of 1 rem. Now can you see what we have? So let's give it a background of white. Let's change the background. It should be yeah. So after the background, let's adjust the border radius here. Let's give it a round border and edge here, each pixel for the box. So now let's go to our skills item and go over on it. Oops, sorry. This should be for our skills item. Oops, there's error. I think this should be for our skills grid. Our skill grid here. Yeah, shows display it to be grid. Yeah, grid template column to adjust the row and to adjust the column. Yeah, let's make it repeat auto fit. Yeah, let's give it a min max of 120 pixel, 1 fr. So now let's give it a gap of 1.5 rem. Let's give it a margin top for the space up. The margin top. The margin top, let's give it 1.5 rem. This is what we have in our skill session. So now let's style the skills item. The skills item. Let's give it a display of flex. We are not going to use grid now this time around. We are going to use flex for the inside, for the items. Yeah, let's align the item to center. And the item is aligned center. Now let's give it a gap of 8 rem. Now let's give it a padding. Let's adjust the padding to be 1 rem. The background. This is what we have so far. Let's adjust the background. The background should be, let's change it to white. border white, border radius, border radius should be 8 pixels. This is what we have. Yeah. So that was clear item. So now let's style the over skills item. Over. Let's give it a background color. Should we give over it? Let's give it a transition up here. Transition. It should be all 0.3 seconds. Is so now for our over here, let's give it a transform of translate to y. Minus 3 pixel. No. It's actually overflowing outside. We adjust that. So now let's give it a SKU items, the item inside it. The SKU item, all those icons, let's style them. Let's give it a font size. A font size of 3 rem for icons. Let's give it a margin button. It should be 0.5. Now let's give it a color. Let's give it something light blue. This is what we have. This is what we have. So now let's go back to our after the eye. Let's adjust the icon inside not to overflow. So now let's adjust. Let's go through our code one by one. What we have in our CSS so far. Style our body, we get the font family, our line height, our container, our provider is our provide image. Yes, this is what we have. Our H1, our title, our section. So yeah. Hello everyone, sorry for that. It's because of the network. So now let's move on. This is where we stop. We are styling our skills item I. So now let me show you what we have here. Okay, this is what we have here. Let me refresh to load the boxicon icon. So now we have our boxicon icon here. We have the about me section. So now let's move on, let's go to the next section here. Our next section will be contact section. Yeah, to the contact section here. To section here. Let's give it a class of contact. Contact. Okay. Let's give it the header, which the H2 as the header. Yeah, get in touch. So that's our that's our H2. So inside our H2 we have different div. Let's give it a div of social links. Social link. Okay, inside our div we are going to be using an anchor tag to link our icon here. So we have our A anchor tag here. So now inside our A, let's go to boxicon and look for the icon that we are going to be needing. We are going to be needing our GitHub icon, our LinkedIn, our Twitter, and our Gmail. Okay. So now let's go to our boxicon here to look for our icon. Let's look for GitHub icon. Sorry. Yeah, this is our GitHub icon here. Let's copy the font. Come in and copy the font. So now I'm going to put it inside our anchor tag here. To be inside our anchor tag, let's copy and paste the rest. You can copy here. We are using our GitHub, our LinkedIn, our Twitter, and our Gmail. So we are going to be pasting it 4 times. Yeah. So we are going to change the GitHub to the LinkedIn. So let's use our LinkedIn here. So let's put our LinkedIn link inside here, inside our GitHub. Let's see what we have now. Browser. This is what we have so far. So let's change the third. Let's change the third GitHub to Twitter. Let's look for our Twitter icon here. So I already copied it. So now let's paste our Twitter icon here inside our third anchor tag. Let's cancel this one. Yeah. So now for our Gmail, the last one will be for our Gmail. Let's go to our box icon again and look for our Gmail icon. Yeah, let's actually use this one. Let's copy the font, paste it inside our. Let's paste it inside our VS Code here. So now let's see what we have so far. This is what we have in our last section here. So now let's style this our contact section. Let's style it in the CSS. Let's move to the CSS to style it. So now we'll be styling it by using our social icon. Show link. Actually, we have to give all our anchor tag a class. We have not given it a class. Let's give it a class of social link. Mm, okay, let's paste it. We are using the same tag for the same class for four of them. So let's style our social link in our CSS. Yeah, let's give it a color of blue. Let's check it out. Yeah, that's our color here. Let's adjust the font size to make it more big. The font size, let's use 1.8 here. Let's check it out. Yeah, it's not bad. So now let's adjust the social link over to give it a smooth social link over. Now let's give it a color 1/8. Give it a blue. Our over is not working. Yeah, it did not spell this area here. It should be like this. Yeah, social link over. This is what we have. Then let me divide my screen so that to make it make sense. So this is what we have in our social link. Let me give it a transition for smooth over. Transition for smooth over, that will be 0.3 seconds. Is, yeah. So now let's adjust the color. Okay, for our over, let's give it a transform for it to zoom out a little bit when we over on it. With the transform mode. Translate to -3 pixel. So now, can we see the difference? It's actually not working yet. Okay. Okay. So now, I think we are done with our contact session or get in touch. This is what we have here now. This is our about session. This is our header session. This is our about session. This is our skill session. This is our get in touch section here. So now let's check our website. If you check very well, you see that it's not responsive to different screen size. Can you see what we have? Okay, can you see? So now we have to adjust the responsiveness. We have to make it responsive by using our media query. Media query is used to adjust the responsiveness of our website. But this should not be like this. Let's adjust it. Let's give it our media query. Go to our code, our VS, our CSS, and use the media query. Let's use media query. Now, let's give it 768 pixel. Yeah. That's 768 pixel now. Let's go to our browser here. can actually check your code here. And you see this is what we have here in our 716 there. So now let's adjust it. Let's first style our container. Our container should have a padding. Let's give it a padding of 1 rem. Okay, actually making sense. This is what we have. So after our container, let's style our grid. The skills grid. To actually style our grid, let's give it the grid template column. Let's align it column. It should be repeat. It should be 2, 1 fr. 2, 1 fr. Yeah, let's see what we have. Okay. So now our H1. Let's adjust the font size. Font size, let's use 2 rem for our font size of our H1. Can you see now? So this is what we have so far in our website. Our website we are designing. You can check it out. So now this is our website, beginner friendly portfolio. This is what we have. So in our VS Code, this is our HTML that we wrote. This is our HTML here. Why this is our CSS, our style. This is our style. The CSS, we use CSS to make sure the website is clean and organized, interactive, for over effect when we over on them, on the icons, on the div, to make it responsive, look good on any other screens, on any screen size, and to make it look modern and professional enough. Yeah. So this is what we have so far. Thank you for watching. Thank you. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like, subscribe. Thank you.